It's a great day to be a Coyote. Welcome, Coyote Nation, to another episode of Back to Pack Podcast, where we are going to be bringing you all of your favorite games, memories, and of course, discussion with our fellow Coyotes. As a disclaimer, we have no affiliation to the University of South Dakota. This is a podcast ran by fans for fans. The ideas and comments do not represent the university. Our opinions are our own. Be sure to find us on Twitter at BackToPackSD. With that being said, let's jump in. What's up, Grant? How you doing?
Doing well, doing well. It's game week. I feel like with Labor Day, this week flew by.
It
So,
did. Yeah.
uh,
Are you excited for the first game of the year?
exactly right. Yes, I'm
Right?
excited for the first game. However, we were joking about that, but in all reality, this is, as we know, the
Legitimate.
FBS games are what they are, right? It's a money game. It's important for the program. It's good to get the guys on a big stage, especially for us this year being on Fox. That's cool. But the real season starts this Saturday. So I'm really pumped. I'm excited for the game this week.
Exactly. And I mean, I think the rankings itself kind of prove where everybody views these FBS, FCS games at.
hmm
They'll credit you for an effort, as we saw UND climb up in the polls for an unwarranted ranking.
hmm
But then Montana State and USD, we really didn't change. I mean,
No,
Tarleton State did pass us. And, at this exact moment, they deserve to because I think their resume speaks for itself.
right, right. It is nice, like you said. It's with an FBS game like last week. If you do pull off the upset, you get major kudos for it. But if you lose, there's really no repercussion for it. But
Exactly.
anyways,
Yep.
that's last week. This is this week. This is FCS football. We're heading to Texas, and I am pumped up.
Go time.
hmm
Hey, I got a question for you, Grant.
Yep.
If you were to pick between who would win, UNT, as in North Texas, or Iowa State, where would you put that game at?
I mean, obviously Iowa State's winning that game. That's not a discussion.
Do you get a score, like just offhand score prediction, even on a neutral?
Oh boy, I would venture that Iowa State would win 21 plus is my guess.
Okay, I was thinking 42-10. So,
Yeah.
yeah, all of a sudden this Lamar game, at least score wise, doesn't make me that nervous.
No, not really. Hitting the road early on always makes a team nervous. We talked
Hmm.
about this last week too. I had our biggest question mark, or at least we all agreed the biggest question mark heading into the season was the offensive line. And funny enough, I think we all agreed, and even Coach said on one of his press conferences, he thought that unit played the best at Iowa State. So,
Yeah.
funny enough, although the result was not good last week, with the way the offensive line played, and with that being the biggest question mark, I actually have
Hmm.
more confidence heading to Lamar than I did 2 weeks ago. So, especially as it pertains to the offense, right? I mean,
Yep.
really feels like we have an opportunity to get things right, score a lot of points, or I'm hoping we score a lot of points down in Texas.
Yeah, exactly. And well, first I want to give a shout out to Mitch because he put all of our slides together for us per usual, but he's
Yep.
going out and being dad right now, doing a little solo parenting, so he wasn't able to join us. But we'll
Yep.
jump through these. I mean, big thing, night game, which I think is more of a factor than we're giving it credit to in a positive. We were all worried about that Texas heat. Well, come out at halftime, it's sunset, it's cooling off. Do you think that'll help the situation?
Yeah, I think it'll help a little bit. I think they purposely make these early games in Texas night games for that reason. I know for sure, like the Arizona schools do that as well. So the old
Yep.
Pac-12 after dark situation, right? But yeah, I think that'll help the guys, like you said, especially in the second half once that sun goes down, because the sun was beating down on us last week, and that got hot pretty quickly. So
As I
I don't
said,
think
your face,
that should
you're,
hopefully help.
you're still looking red.
I always look red on this feed. I don't know what it is down here, but yes, I definitely got sunburn on Saturday.
Yep, exactly. All right, so we'll get rolling through some of the announcements that Mitch put in here for us as well. But we got 8 new Coyotes being inducted into the Hall of Fame, which is a wonderful news to go over here. 2 from the football team, Tyler Starr and Noah Shepard.
hmm
I,
Yeah,
fantastic
I
people.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say fantastic representations of USD football right there.
Yeah, yeah, I was gonna say, especially as it relates to football, obviously, we're kind of a football-centric show. Obviously, a lot of, outstanding athletes on here, but Noah Shepherd, I mean, can't say enough about him and his play at quarterback when he played for
Oh
USD
yeah.
as a kid growing up. That was a guy that just always seemed to amaze me. Middle school, high school type era there, um, which is great. He's obviously highly involved with USD at the foundation as well too. So that's exciting. And then Tyler Starr, I know at least him and I were going to school around the same time together. Trying to think of what time frame exactly that was, but yeah, another guy that you saw him play and you went, oh boy, that guy is different,
Mhm.
right? Especially at the time that he was playing for USD. So
I
yeah, well deserving football players there for sure.
I remember one play by Tyler Starr where he came off the end, completely unblocked. Quarterback went into a or not RPO, but geez, yeah, basically an RPO. Turned around and he got absolutely annihilated, and his helmet pulled away. And the refs called it targeting, even though there was absolutely no helmet to helmet contact. The guy just got hit that hard, and you were pretty sure like his head might have been in the helmet still.
The old chest pop good enough to pop the helmet off. We've seen those before.
Oh yeah, and he was always that kid that we just when we needed a big play on defense, sack, stop, whatever. It always seemed like number 11 was there, the first one there to get the play going.
No doubt.
All right, we'll go ahead and jump through on there. And then we are still doing another tailgate with the O Fund down in Texas as well. I
Yeah, I
don't
was
know
gonna
if I
say, I don't imagine as many people are gonna be heading down to Texas as there was in Ames, but there is a tailgate for anybody that is going down there. So, good snippet here, just showing you the time, where to go. You can find
exactly.
more info at the Yote Fund, yotefund.com, or on Twitter is where we pulled this one from. Yeah, I'll be curious to see if or how many folks make the trip down. Uh, Certainly not a short car ride like it was to Ames. So
No, no. I don't even know if we got direct flights from Sioux Falls to Houston. So I think
doubtful.
that's the closest airport hub for it too.
I think
I
Dallas is the closest you're going to get out of Sioux Falls, but unless you're jumping
Yep.
on the charter,
Now I got a question. How would you feel tailgating in Texas at 3:30?
have to stay well hydrated.
Well hydrated. I might actually put a water between the beers at that kind of tailgate.
You would. You need to make sure you've got lots of ice for that tailgate. It'll be cooking at 3:30.
All right, and if I'm not mistaken, this is a new combo for the Coyotes.
Yeah, we were kind of kicking that around as we were texting this week, but I agree with you. I believe this is the first combo of the black helmet and then all whites.
Exactly.
I'm a big fan of the all whites in general, as far as white helmet and jersey and pants. But throwing in the black
Mhm.
helmet, I like it. I like it, especially for this game where we're playing another red team. I like to kind of get away from the red if we can. I assume Lamar's wearing red, but
Yep. Well, I got some good news for you about the all whites. You'll get to see it in person real soon.
yes, we will. I had to do some gear upgrade, get a new white shirt for the game on the home opener.
Exactly.
So yeah, good call out there. White out for the home opener here in 2 weeks. So getting closer and closer to that as well. So plan accordingly with your gear as you get ready for that game.
Well, yeah, and you got to make the UNC game fun in one way, shape, or another. I don't
Well,
know.
it'll be fun for one team.
For the first quarter, and then we'll all be bored too. All right, so look at Mitch just having all the fun facts for us here. We got series history with the Coyotes versus Cardinals, and this is only the fifth time, which I mean, there are a ton of FCS programs out there, so it doesn't surprise me. But I also like getting down to Texas because I know we have the ability to pull some recruits out of there,
There you
get
go.
them a home game every now and
Hmm.
then. But we own the most recent win. I will take that one. That was a beatdown.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say too, the most recent win. Sorry, I'm looking the. Oh, I'm sorry. Lamar's won both the previous meetings in Beaumont. Excuse me. Yeah, but the most
Mhm.
previous win just 3 years ago. We'll get into that, but actually, surprisingly, Lamar's got a lot of familiar faces from that team that are on the team this year that we saw
Yep.
yeah, 3 years ago. So, And also, starting quarterback in that game was a young Aiden Bauman as well. So um,
Exactly.
it is kind of, I think for a lot of fans, they will remember that game. It was a very strange game at the Dome. Um,
Hmm.
kind of went into halftime with a sloppy kind of field goals back and forth, and then we kind of just put the hurting on them in the second half and just ran the ball as we pleased all game long. So
Exactly. Now, I mean, these USD teams have been fans of getting monkeys off the back
mhm.
recently. It'll be nice to get this one off and actually get a win down in Lamar as well.
Yeah, like you said, Lamar's won both previous meetings. So again, just like last year, we had a lot of monkeys to get off our back with traveling to places and getting wins in Youngstown and UND. So we might as well keep the trend going and get the monkey off our back and go find a win down in Texas.
Exactly. All right, we'll go ahead, jump into it, and then just a little game notes. ESPN Plus.
Hmm.
It's gonna be on there for people to watch starting at 6 o'clock for us. Man, he's got all the notes for us. He can't beat this. Look at that. He even has the sunset for us.
You knew Mitch would have the weather report on here. That's a given.
Exactly. Yeah, and you know what? I'll take partly cloudy. There's more clouds in the sky than sun.
Hmm.
It's a calm day, which I think you kind of want a little breeze just to get the air flowing. But sunset only an hour and a half after kickoff. That tells me it's even before halftime. The sun's setting
Hmm.
in Beaumont, so that'll be a good deal. I'll be curious to see how full they can get their 16,000 stadium.
Yeah, I don't really
Especially
have a
after that
pull.
last showing.
I was just gonna say I don't really have a pulse on the crowd or the following too much to that extent, but 16,000 to me seems like a lot of folks. But
Yeah,
it is the home opener for them. Depends on kind of the excitement level, but I don't think we're going to be entering an environment that's like super hostile by any means.
exactly. And I do also want to apologize to the people following along with us right now. We have yet to recover from the Iowa State game. And also, putting your kids in school, again, has kind of kicked my butt. I think it's the same for you, Grant. So if we seem a little dazed and confused, that is exactly what's going on.
Yeah, use up all of our energy, cheering on the Yotes on Saturday. Haven't got the voice back quite yet, and like you
Hmm.
said, the kids go to school and bring back the petri dish from school too. So good
Exactly.
combo of things.
Those germ gremlins, that's for sure. But now let's get into the game. And obviously, the first thing we want to talk about is Lamar just had their first FBS opponent,
Hmm.
and they ended up losing to North Texas 51-0. And
Yeah,
to add insult to injury, that 51st point happened with 8.5 minutes left to go in the third quarter.
it did. Yeah, that I mean, they're probably feeling similar to how the Yotes felt after Saturday. Although I would say we kind of talked about it. I think our a loss is a loss, and a big whooping like both teams got is a big whooping regardless. But
Hmm.
they had a kind of a strange game for anybody that watched it. Actually, was 20-0 with about let me see the yeah with about 6 minutes left till halftime, 20-0. But then unfortunately some costly mistakes, and all of a sudden it was 37-0 going into
Yes.
halftime. So, um, and then from there, just like you said, North Texas scored a couple more touchdowns in the third quarter, and it seemed like both teams were ready to, pack it in and head home, right? So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, disappointing, showing for them too. I think some turnovers, some pretty poor offensive output type numbers as well. So, um, yeah, they're feeling the hurt this week as well, no doubt about it.
I'll add. It wasn't even 6 minutes left in the first half when it was 20-0. It was 2 minutes left in the first half, and it was 20-0. And then they went into halftime, 37-0.
Yeah, yeah, yes, that is a tough way to do it, right? That's
Exactly. And for those that didn't look, I took an opportunity to kind of watch the game. I found on YouTube a 20-minute version of the game, and it cut out quite a bit. But what happened was uh, UNT scored a touchdown, and then Lamar threw an interception, returned to the 20-yard line, kicked a field goal, and then ensuing possession with like 40 seconds left, Lamar's quarterback ran an RPO, got smoked, and fumbled into the end zone. And that's
yeah.
how they scored 17 points in just about 2 minutes. And Ray, Yote fans got you covered there. At Yotes are favored by 18.5 going into this game. And we'll get into the predictions here a little bit, but I have a feeling we won't be close to that spread.
Yeah, the Joe fan says for entertainment purposes only. I think I've seen the line. I think we've got a slide on it. This line's moved slightly down to like
Yep.
16 and a half. I don't know if it's actually moved or where it got actually published, but regardless, around there is kind of the line we're seeing. But um, as we're talking matchup, you mentioned the quarterback, uh, and wanted to just mention that kind of an interesting tidbit that we found as we were kind of doing some research. But so the quarterback for Lamar was actually granted another year to play this year. He was not
Yep.
expecting to be playing in 2025. Similar to Mo, got an exemption for the JUCO rule. So he's returning, and this is the same quarterback we saw 3 years ago at the Dome as well. So um, definitely have some
Wild.
senior-led folks there.
Uh-huh.
Got a running back is another one that is going to return from 3 years ago. A couple of offensive linemen, so definitely a more senior team. But just
Yep.
kind of an interesting thing to think they were moving on at quarterback position, and they said, "Wait a second, one more year for you."
Exactly. And to back up Robert Coleman is none other but NFL's son is Aiden McCown.
Hmm.
So Josh McCown's kid, which is wild. I don't even feel like Josh is that much older than us. So that is concerning.
Right, right. We're getting old now.
Yeah, I didn't like that. But no. So, looking into the North Texas game, and it's one of those things, do you really take a lot from it? But Robert did go 13 of 24, so just a little over 50% for 88 yards and no touchdowns.
Hmm.
They weren't even willing to give him a QBR rating. So,
Yeah, yeah, I saw that as well. Um, It'll be interesting too because this offense, I guess I should say, similar to what we're probably going to try to do this week. They want to run the football. They want to establish the run. And to your point, Jake, they'll do that with both running backs and quarterbacks. So
yep.
have that RPO game available to them. But um, I think for fans to expect kind of or what to expect from Lamar's offense is that they will really look to establish the run early. Um, as we know, we feel pretty good about that matchup. Although not a lot of bright spots in Ames, run defense was another one right behind the offensive line that we talked about. That was kind
Yes.
of a bright spot. So I like how this matchup is playing out, at least on paper, from the little sample size we have so far.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, to add to it, not just the D line, but the linebackers were doing a fantastic job
Hmm.
because Rocco is not a scrambling quarterback, but he's a running quarterback. And so their ability to maintain him, he never really had any big outbursts as well. They set the edges really well, contained everything. And aside from that one touchdown where Mitch did a fantastic job finding some holds on the replay, they really didn't have a run longer than 10 yards. And that's Iowa State. Lamar, I mean, as long as the DNs are willing to stay home on the read option, like what they saw from what North Texas did to Lamar,
Hmm.
it's really not going to be close. This run offense isn't going to have anything to do with it. And here's the thing: Lamar ran a total of 54 plays
Hmm.
against North Texas.
Right.
North Texas had 41 rush attempts alone.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's what I say. When I say a limited sample size, we're talking about an extremely small sample size for Lamar. So it is definitely hard to take away much from it.
Yep.
But from what we've kind of looked at this week, that's kind of what we took away, at least from the offensive side.
Yeah, exactly. And looking at it too, North Texas, nobody had more than 8 rush attempts, so they really were just kind of going through it. But their quarterback, Messamaker for North Texas, was tearing them apart.
Hmm.
24 for 32 for 329 yards. I think there's going to be some opportunities for some more Yotes to really gain some yards through that. And hopefully Aiden can put, 2, 3 touchdowns on the board just through the air.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's a good segue into kind of that the defense that they run. So to your point, Travis talked about a little bit. They'll run multiple defenses. They'll put three down. They'll put four down. So we'll get multiple looks in general, but it's certainly not going to be the looks that we got at Iowa State. So
No.
I think schematically that helps us. But to your point too, I think there's an opportunity for a lot of offensive players for USD to find ways in the end zone. And I'm to your point, I'm expecting a big game out of our offense. I'm expecting a big bounce back game from Aiden. I think Charles Pierre is going to have all the opportunities in the world to get going in
Oh
this
yeah.
game. I know Coach said he was hoping to get him 20, 25, 30 carries at Ames, right? It just didn't play out that way, the way the game script went. So I
Yep.
have a feeling we'll go back to that here on Saturday. So I'm really excited to see what some of those numbers look like for Charles Pierre and for and Aiden too.
Yeah, the Charles Pierre slash Aiden hype train for the Walter Payton starts on Saturday.
Right. For
But yeah, I can I watched like I said, I watched the North Texas game and it was interesting to see even when Lamar ran a three down D line, they always brought a fourth defender in.
hmm
So it was curious to watch. For the most part, though, they kind of use uh, a lineman linebacker similar to what we did with Marquise Grace,
hmm
where he'd be on the line or off the line, and they're definitely really willing to move a guy around. So I'll be curious if they can kind of keep an eye on who that rush end linebacker is gonna be. But there were so many mistakes. They lined up in man coverage, press man coverage, and those corners would get cooked
hmm
instantly. I just don't I didn't see anything that made me nervous, except for I will say this. I was pretty impressed with Lamar's ability to create pressure and force North Texas to move the pocket.
hmm
And so that will be interesting to watch because we did see Aiden struggle with the pocket moving.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely seemed like some of those ones he was short hopping or kind of throwing guys behind the route was when he was on the move. So that's a good point to make.
Yep.
Um, and it's funny too. Again, Travis talked about it in the press conference, but this is probably a game more where Yotes are focused more inward than they are outward, right? You're obviously going to do your homework on your opponent, but I
Yep.
think there's a lot of growth that needs to happen, and yeah, exactly,
Let's
perfect
cue it
comment
up.
here, perfect comment here, right? Teams always make that the greatest improvement from week 1 to week 2. I know it's a cliche football, thing to say, but it really is true, right? And I think for this team, especially based on what we envision we can do this year in
Yep.
conjunction with who we played last week and who we play this week, I see a really big bounce back game coming for USD this week.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited. It's definitely something that we need. Um, Lamar being down more where I lower than we thought will definitely help us out. I'm curious to see it. This is kind of there's still some questions swirling around it because did we get to see what the Yotes fully are capable of? I think the first, quarter and a half against Iowa State was very impressive for the most part, moving the ball quite a bit.
hmm
And Iowa State's defense is probably going to be one of the best in the Big 12, but we definitely have some capabilities out there. So we'll
hmm
move on to predictions though. And as we get to it, be sure to throw your predictions in the comment as well. We'd love to bring all the fans on stage as well.
Yeah, yeah, and I think this is the slide you're kind of speaking of. So,
Yep.
um, as far as ranking goes, there's a lot of different rankings, right, with Massey and FanDuel and all here. But this first one, the Sargarian, I think that's how you say it. I always get that
Yep.
wrong when I say it. But again, for context, this is ranking all FBS and FCS. I don't. Does it go to Division two? I don't think it does. I think it's just FBS and
No.
FCS. So all FBS, FCS schools. You can see here. The rankings are pretty large, actually larger than I would have expected, but it has USD at
Yeah.
106 and Lamar at 213. But I guess, Jake, were you shocked by that number as well? I guess I was this is, for context, this is, I think, two spots
Yeah.
below Drake, if I remember looking at right, just for folks to kind of get some
Really?
context around. Yeah.
Okay. So no, yeah, that's really shocking there. I definitely put Lamar as at least a 10 to 13 point favorite minimum against Drake, especially with their new head coach switch. But we'll talk more about Drake later on this year.
Yep.
Yotes are kind of right where I expected out of all FBS, FCS there. So I'm just surprised Lamar's as far down as they were, but I didn't look into what they did last season either.
Yeah, and that's a good note too. Lamar finished 7-5 last year, from a record perspective, right? So,
Yep.
um, not some top 25 team that is top of their conference by any means, but they're certainly not a bottom feeder in the FCS either. So,
Yep.
you know, as it relates to some of these lines, right? You talk about 16, 16 and a half. Massey actually likes USD a lot more at 23. Um,
Hmm.
those feel okay. I think you and I both agree that Yotes, knowing that what we can do execution wise, I think that number is going to be a little bit bigger. But this
Yep.
feels right for hitting the road early in the year. Two teams that little unknown at this point, but all things considered, these make sense to
Yeah.
why they're there.
Yep. And I'll say this too, the defense is going to go as the corners and secondary go as a whole. We saw that was kind of that was the weak spot on the defense against Iowa State, but Iowa State's wide receivers are fantastic. And then the tight ends are freaks of nature that we'll never run into again.
Mm-hmm.
At least we won't run into four of them on the field at the
Right.
same time.
Right.
So there is that. Um, so that's kind of where we go. But like I said, I'm really curious how this D line matches up against a average to poor FCS O line. We'll get a full grasp of what this defense actually is capable of. But
Yeah.
I do like where Massey was at.
Yeah, I do too. I like that. I like that Massey prediction. If that's the final score on Saturday, I like that. So,
Yep.
but before we
All right.
go to picks and scores, I did just want to mention too, because you just brought it up. But
Yeah.
I think as we talked through it this week, I think we all have a lot of confidence in the offense, and they showed uh, what can be done, especially in that first quarter, of the
Yes.
game in Ames, right? So, I think a lot of us feel good about that. The one thing to your point, though, we still need to see it from the defense. We need to see some major improvement in the secondary play from
Hmm.
last year, and that's kind of regardless of opponent, right? I think as you listen to Coach Johansson talk about different areas, felt like that was the area that he was also the most. Maybe, I don't know if disappointed is the right word, but that was the part he felt like needed the most
Yep.
work. So I know those guys are going to be getting to work hard this week. I know they're not happy with their performance. At least feels like there's some things that are
Yeah.
relatively easy to fix. So I'm excited to see what they do. I'm expecting a big jump from those guys. Uh, and if they don't, we could get ourselves into a game that we might not necessarily like. So, uh,
Exactly.
big things to come from them. But I have a feeling it's going to be a big jump on the defensive secondary for sure.
Well, and to go along before we go into the predictions here, just to add to what my prediction of this game is, I do think we will see our first Coyote with their first pick of their career sometime in this game.
Yeah, and that
Which I
means basically anybody.
all four of them back there, yes, all four back there will. One of them will have a pick. Which
Right.
now a storyline that nobody's talking about going into this game, and like I said, I'm spacey. Sudafed is a heck of a drug, so. One story that's not being talked about though is our starting safety and
Yeah.
who he's playing this week.
Yeah. That's you're exactly right. We didn't have a slide for that, but that's certainly
Yeah,
one. If everybody's familiar, our starting safety from Saturday came from Lamar. So
exactly.
um, and I was going to
Yep,
say I'm
Seabell Lewis
Seabell
is
Lewis, and I'm sorry as I'm pulling this up. I believe he led our team in tackles
he did.
last
He had
week.
9 tackles last week, which is never a
Not
positive when
not a good
safeties.
not always a good thing from your safety, but
Yep.
this is a guy. Yeah, this is a. You're exactly right. Seabell Lewis is going to have to step up in a big way this game.
Hmm.
Um, knowing we've had some injuries already in the secondary this year, right early in the season, and
Yeah,
getting to play a team that he's probably more familiar with Lamar than he is USD just based off of time. So I have to imagine he's excited to play these guys, and I'm hoping he's giving us some really good intel this week.
exactly. Yeah, and I mean the same question that was posed to Aiden. I'm curious if Dewan Lewis knows what the away team's locker room looks like at Lamar.
Exactly right. Probably has no idea.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's a fun little story. I'm surprised nobody's talking about it because he was a starter for Lamar as well.
Hmm.
Wanted to come up here to compete for a national championship. So, hopefully, we keep that rolling and get it going. But we'll get into our predictions here. We'll do Mitch first. Oh, very close to the Yote fan here. Both of them
Yeah,
thrown out 42, but Mitch has a little more faith in the defense.
he does. Yeah, I
Hmm.
was. We of course in our group message were talking about needing a big bounce back game, and uh, yeah, I think everybody would love this score, right? 42-17. Everybody's feeling really good about Coyote football at that point. So I would love
Exactly.
to see this. My prediction isn't quite there yet, but yeah, here I was gonna say mine's not too far off. I will say a couple of things on my prediction. So I just said 38-21. We just talked about it. I do need the defense and in particular the secondary to show me something this week, right?
Yep.
So, show me, show me something a big jump from last week to this week. Um, so that's why I say 21, which again, it's not a ton of points, but it is points.
Yep.
Um, really looking for the defense to show out and show that they're not what we saw in Ames. I don't think that was a great representation of it, given the final box score, right?
Yep.
But
Exactly.
and then on the flip side too, I've got 38, Mitch's got 42. But again, I think a lot of points are going to be scored. Both teams are going to want to run the ball, so this game might be shorter possession wise than maybe a normal
Hmm.
game. Um, but I think I told you guys in the group chat, I'll go a step further. I think Charles Pierre is going to go for 150 plus yards rushing. I think he's going to go for two plus rushing touchdowns.
Hmm.
Um, just really depends on game flow, but there's no reason that he can't have a career day down in Texas on Saturday.
Exactly. And then we're gonna jump through a couple of these predictions out here. So obviously we got Yote fan always in the chat,
Yep.
42-21. I mean, a very phenomenal score. I think, yeah, we could see the upper 30s going pretty well for these scores. But then we got RJ Kirch here. The Black Helmets winning 42-13. You make me a
Mm-hmm.
little nervous though, RJ, because Lamar does have black helmets. But I think I know what you're thinking with your prediction. uh, and then we got Ray as well here at 41-14. I'm feeling a consistent trend for the most part with fans of the show.
Yeah, I was gonna say fans
Looking pretty
seem to agree
similar.
with us tonight that uh, we're thinking a blowout. We're thinking Yotes are winning big, and as we all want, that's what I want to see on Saturday.
Exactly. And we'll throw mine up there. So I'm predicting more of a defensive effort on our part. This is that bounce back game that gets the guys pumped up. 35-10, just a methodical, consistent offensive performance. And my thought is that we see Aiden throw for his first 300-yard game since Youngstown State. Fantastic game, 38-35 in the dome.
Love that. Uh,
Kind
I
of
will
wild to think.
say that, as I say, it is something to think about. Your prediction, my prediction, probably both can't happen, right? I mean, it's possible, but then we're talking about 450, 500 yards of total offense, and
Sounds about right.
I I hope they both do.
Yeah. I mean, definitely an opportunity. You saw North Texas's quarterback did
Hmm.
329 yards of throwing. That's just throwing. He had 359 yards of total offense with 8 minutes left to go in the third. He got pulled.
Yep.
So there's
Yeah.
opportunities on the field. If the defense doesn't get us a touchdown like what North Texas did, gets us a turnover there, or gives us short fields, obviously the yards aren't going to be there, but the score will look differently. But if we are holding them to punts and we're starting at the 20, there's an opportunity for both guys to hit our predictions.
Tell you what, of these predictions, you know which one excites me the most?
All of us winning.
Well, it's all that we are winning, but yours actually, Jake. So the reason I say that, if the defense allows just 10 points on Saturday,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to be feeling that jump that I'm talking about that I want to see from Ames to that. That would be like the A plus stamp of approval, going from, you know, kind of getting run out of the building to, hey, we only allowed 10 points in the entire game. That would
Mm-hmm.
really, really feel good about what's happening on both sides of the ball. So if we give up 10 points or less, I will be grinning from ear to ear all week long
Yeah.
on that.
Well, and I'm going to say this too. I mean, I fully believe in our corners. They're young.
Oh, yeah.
First you look at Mikey Munn, who is a sophomore, but he's a true sophomore who didn't get any starting reps at corner because he came in from safety.
Yep.
But and then going along with, let's see, RJ Stewart as well,
Hmm.
who is a redshirt freshman. Both of these guys are fantastic athletes. We've
Yeah.
been told Mikey is the fastest guy on the team, and it's proven because he's been on the kick return every year he's
Hmm.
been here. And RJ Stewart, if I remember correctly, won the dunk contest. So
Yes, and I
yeah,
agree with you. I think to
he's
your point,
stupid
like,
athletic.
yeah, ton of athletes. It's just really they just need the snaps, right? And boy,
Exactly.
going to Ames is a tough way to cut your teeth, right? There's no
Mhm.
sugarcoating that, right? That's a tough way to do it, but um, just making sure that that jump and that those snaps are being used and you're learning from it. You're in the film room seeing all that stuff. I think it'll translate well for this Lamar game.
Exactly. Well, perfect. Yeah, I'm excited. This is huge opportunity for the Yotes to really kind of bounce back way more than we thought. Because both you and I talked about it. We were nervous about this game a little bit, in the sense, just because we're traveling to Texas, it's unfamiliar territory. But after I watched at least the bits and pieces of the Lamar North Texas game, and after I watched the first half of the Iowa State USD game,
Hmm.
it was a completely different showing. Lamar threw for their starting quarterback threw for 88 yards. They ran for a total of 31 yards against North Texas. There's gonna be opportunities. This defense is gonna eat, and poor Lamar is only gonna have 10 points to their name on the year so far.
Yeah, it is funny you say that. It's very not very often that your team loses 55-7 and you actually feel better about the game that's upcoming. But that's exactly where I'm at as well, right? Like
Exactly.
we saw the sample size and we saw, okay, there's some really good things happening to this team. So I think as
Mhm.
long to your point, as long as we execute our game plan, do what we know they're capable of doing, I think any one of these score predictions should be right in line with what happens on Saturday.
Yeah, and I'll say this: we left Ames healthy. I know
Hmm.
towards the end of the game, we saw Wade go down. He was clutching his head. A lot of people thought he got popped and may have been a concussion or dazed. Uh, from what I've heard, actually something got through his helmet, the gap in his helmet, so he's got a cut on his eye. He'll be good to go. It was nothing major. It just
Yeah.
scared the crap out of you, and it's right there by your eye. That hurts.
Right, right. Yeah, that is a good
So,
point too. That's always the main key is in those big money games is how do we stay healthy?
yep,
That's honestly number one, right? If you can pull the upset off, great, but being healthy and being able to accomplish your goals at the FCS level is more important than really anything. So good call out there.
yep. So perfect. I mean, I think we're all aligned here. We got a great opportunity, great bounce back. Seems like everybody's on the yoke train, right where they should be. This one's going to be fun. But with that being said, go Yotes.
Go Yotes.